Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie, and if you're new here, I like to talk about my lifestyle changes, my mental health, and renovation, something that I'm getting really into, and also a little bit about my pets. Today is one of my story time videos, so I'm going to tell you about an animal rescue that my boyfriend and I did, as well as updates to my cat and my future plans for my channel. Okay, so the story time is really crazy. I had a crazy day. This was 2 days ago. So I first took Eleanor to the vet for fluids the day before. And I've had the same janky ass phone for 5 years at least. So in the middle of the route coming home, because I recently got my car here, I've never actually driven these streets before. In the middle of the road, all of a sudden, my phone just cuts off. Not low battery, nothing. And no matter what I can do, I cannot turn it back on. My cat's just meowing in the background, wanting to go home. I want to go home. The school bus traffic is coming, and it was crazy. I went down all these crazy roads. I did many turns, and finally I was like, if I can just get to a restaurant I'm familiar with, I can call my boyfriend to tell him, and he can give me directions home. I just have to find it. And I mean, I wasn't recognizing anything, you guys, anything. So finally, after doing several turns, I ended up at the local pharmacy down the street, and I was like, okay, should I turn left or right? Left or right? Okay, I'm turning right. And this is the one turn that I actually did correctly, because eventually I saw stuff that looked kind of familiar, and then I saw the road that I knew led to the house. So luckily I made it. I was relieved, and I was like, I hate this phone. And for purposes of this channel, I'm trying not to curse that much, but I hate this phone. Oh, so the next day we decided to get new phones. I'm on my mother's plan, actually, because it's cheaper that way. My boyfriend and I are on separate plans. He's on with his family, and it's a long story of why. But I get a better deal than he does. So we decided to switch carriers and get new phones. And to make a longer story short, my mom figured out, like, what we decided to do was she would be the one to get the phones, and then I would pick up mine later at the location near the renovation house, since we're, about 2 hours, an hour to 2 hours away. So anyway, she goes to the store and she finds out that, hey, with this new phone deal and with her discount, would be paying $30 less than she's already paying now, plus this is a new phone, brand new. And we were changing from the iPhones to the Galaxy, so I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? Leave your comments below. If you're an Apple user or a Samsung user, which phone do you have? But I'm getting used to that new phone. So we went in there. Well, basically, I did not bring my wallet. Well, I brought my wallet, but my debit card was not in there. So my boyfriend offered to pay for the phone, not the phone, but for the activation fee, which was like an $80-something thing. And there's a whole side story here of this horribly rude guy that worked there, but I'm trying to avoid saying that because I'm trying to just to show you guys how crazy of a story it is without getting angry and getting too much into the guy that was such a jerk to me at the store. But my boyfriend, basically, he put his card in, and it did not go through because of the amount and stuff like that. So we were told, go to the ATM, get some cash. Well, this was 15 minutes before closing because we had already been there for hours. And my mom had been at her location even longer. So we go to the ATM, like down the street, we come back, and apparently what we didn't know, and even the salespeople didn't know, was that by using my boyfriend's card, and because his name is not tied with my name or my mom's name, they saw it as fraud, and they totally suspended the account. So I'm getting information, but my mom doesn't know yet that her phone is no longer working because her phone is suspended too. So while that happens, I'm calling customer service and tech support and stuff, and they're telling me what's going on and what needs to be done, but it's stuff that I can't do. Like, my mom needs to confirm that it's her, she needs to call the number, Social Security, all of that. Well, eventually, she finally does, and by then it's getting later and later and later. I get a phone call of her from my boyfriend's phone, and this was, by then, my boyfriend and I had left the store because they had closed, and we were going to just worry about the whole Social Security issue, my mom confirming her identity the next day. So we went out to eat at this Americanized hibachi place that was nearby. So we're eating there, and I get a phone call, like I said, from my mom on my boyfriend's phone. She finally thought to call him like that. And she's like, "What's going on?" And I tell her, and she's mad. And when she answered, the questions they asked her were weird questions like cars she had rented in the 80s, and how many number of rooms did you have in this particular house, and do you know such and such person? And it's all of these things that she didn't know. She's like, "No, I don't know this person. I never lived on such and such house, and renting cars. What are you talking about?" So she failed the test to prove it was her, even though the salespeople were there and they could prove that she was there. The people on tech support needed to know before they could unsuspend her account. So then the next day comes. Well, in the meantime, okay, this is my side story of me saving the bird. But so we get out of the restaurant. It's probably 9:30, almost 10 o'clock. We get out of the restaurant, and when I'm on the phone with my mom and we're talking about the problem, I notice a baby bird that's just trying to hide in the shadows of the restaurant. I'll post the picture. You'll see it, what it looks like of the restaurant, but I'll blur the name out of it. But basically, in the shadows, he was hiding, and he was like a nest age bird. He had like a big orange beak, like the kind that, that hold up their beaks for their moms to feed them and stuff. And he was tinier than my hands, and I have really small hands. And I'm like, oh my God. So I told my boyfriend, oh my gosh, I thought he was injured at the time. There's an injured bird outside. Well, we go outside, and I just could not leave this bird. And we first, I'm like, who do we call this late? Who do we call? And I looked on Google, and I couldn't find anyone. So I called the local emergency vet and asked them what I should do. And they're like, you need to call animal control. So I call animal control. And they tell me they do dogs and cats, and I need to talk to Department of Wildlife. Well, the Department of Wildlife, I don't remember exactly their excuse, but I did end up speaking with an officer. And they don't do that kind of stuff, but what they do is they lead you to other organizations or people on a designated list to do it for you. So I get this long list and I call, and this is probably my 9th or 10th call that I've been making. And also I've been transferred from person to person, but I'm determined, and the time is passing. It's getting like 11 o'clock at this point. And I finally get in touch with this lady. Her name is Nancy, and she works on birds. I'm actually thinking about posting. I need to find her card, but if I do, I'll post it on the link below so you guys can help her out and see what she does, because she does a lot of bird rescue. And she's finally responds to me, and she's like, give me a second. I'm feeding 20 baby birds downstairs. So I'm like, oh my gosh, she's really into this stuff. So we talk, and we figure out that the bird has probably fallen from the nest. And so that's probably the issue, but there's no other place that I can hide him or keep him, and the mother is not going to be able to get him. I was afraid somebody would hurt him if I left him alone. Someone could stomp on him. People are cruel these days, you guys. So I was just determined to not leave him. And she agreed with me on that, as far as there was no place to nest him, and we didn't hear the mother, and we didn't see other birds, and he was completely silent. So my boyfriend went and got him. Well, first I took some pictures because she wanted to know what he looked like. So I took some pictures, and after that she said that she thinks that he was a starling based on his big feet. I'm going to post some pictures for you guys on this video to see. So anyway, this baby bird, my boyfriend gets him and puts him in his lunchbox, this like cooler-like lunchbox, and there's mesh at the top, so he's down here, and there's mesh, and then it's open here, so I can look down, but he can't get out. And he's not even really trying to get out. At first he was chirping madly. He was angry, but he calmed down. And she said that we finally agreed that we would drive over there, and she said that she would take him in, and that she would get an incubator and food and stuff ready for him, because he was very, very young, just like we thought that he might be. So we drive over, maybe it would have been an hour with bad traffic, but luckily it was so late. So it took us about 45 minutes. And I mean, the time is passing like crazy. It's getting close to midnight here. So we drive all the way over there. My boyfriend was a real trooper because he had work the next morning, but he was determined because he wanted to help the bird too, and I think he did it for me as well, which was really great. I mean, he was a real MVP, and driving me there and catching the bird and all of that. I wouldn't have been able to go that far because with my driving and stuff like that without his help. So he really, really did a great thing. So we drove over there. in this place in Atlanta. And after we get to Atlanta, she has this nice city like house, and she tells me a little bit about, you know, the bird rehabilitation and some of the birds that she's taking care of currently. She's a really nice lady. And we pretty much give him up. My boyfriend names him Clifford, and I agreed to call him Clifford because of all the stuff my boyfriend did. So it's like, you know, I'll at least give him that. He can have the name. So finally, again, it's past midnight. I don't even know what time it is right now by then at the time. And we drive home. We're both tired, and then we both remember that it's trash day. But since my boyfriend had work the next day, I'm like, I'll take care of it. And then I had to clean my cat's litter box. I had to give her nightly medicine, and then I forgot to take my dog on her walk before I even left to go to the phone store because we didn't think it would take so long. So we do that. And so that was a crazy story, but I'm really glad because she said that that starlings, I keep wanting to call him a swallow, but he's not a swallow, he's a starling. But starlings are invasive birds, and they're usually kept as pets. And I had no idea about that. And she said that he would live a long life and that he would be okay. So I'm really glad. I'm proud of myself too that I did that. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's great that we helped him. So anyway, he's fine, and I haven't heard about him, but she said I could contact her anytime. So if you guys want an update on Clifford the starling, just let me know and comment below, please, and hit like, and I promise that I will contact her. So anyway, the update of the phone, the next day, my mom went to, this is part of the crazy story. She was told she would have to fax documents of proof who she was, like her social security card and her driver's license. So she goes to the local Publix and does it. And she calls them to get their fax number. Well, then they tell her, no, you have to fax it from a insert phone provider here. Store. And she's like, what? They didn't tell me that, and the store doesn't even have a fax machine. So she said, well, what you can do is take pictures of it and email it to you, or email it to us. And my mom is like, well, what's your guys' email? And she's like, we can't disclose that information. You'll have to do it at the store. So my mom, in the meantime, she's missing work as well. This is the next morning, and she has to have her phone for work. It's one of those kind of things. So she drives, and right now neither of us have a working phone. So she drives to another store, and he enters the key in, and he's like, oh, you're all set. And she's like, what? That's it? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, it's probably all the documents that you faxed at Publix earlier. And my mom she didn't know. So basically, it finally got resolved, and we have our new phones, and I have it, and just trying to get used to. I have the S9. I chose it over the S9 Plus just because I have such small hands, and the S9 Plus was just a little too big for me. And I wanted a phone now, so I'm okay with not waiting for the Note to come out. So just getting used to, since smartphones were a thing, I've always had an Apple. In my MacBook, I have so that's Apple product, iPod, iPad. So I'm definitely getting used to it. So I don't have anything bad to say other than, I don't have anything bad to say that's the fault of the phone. It's just me getting used to its settings and features. So I really like that, and that's my story. So that was my story time. Update on Eleanor, because I left off the last video where she went to the specialist. And the update was, I learned how to give her fluids. We learned that it's probably an injury that started the whole kidney thing, because she did have an injury based off of her hip where she was already having problems with. So we learned about that. We learned that the medicine they gave her for her UTI probably wasn't the best medicine for a UTI, and that she might have a kidney infection. So we got like 4 or 5 different kinds of medicines to give her. Some of them are supplements, and like one of them is an antibiotic and one is a probiotic, so it's not that crazy. But we got like one big gel capsule to put it in, and then we learned about just using a chaser at the end, like milk or something like that, to get her to swallow it. So at night and at morning, I only give her 2 pills each, 2 pills in the morning, 2 pills at night. But they're packed full with other medicines in it. And that way I don't have to just force her to take that many pills. And she's getting fluids 2 days and then off 1 day, 2 days, off 1 day. And I, filled out this extremely intensive calendar about when she was getting fluids, what was going on. So she's done really, really well with that. And she's starting to recover. We're starting to get her above that line. How I said it was like we're kind of like this, and now we're kind of like we're getting up there. So it's just a matter of continuing to be aggressive, and she's even, with the treatment, and she's also being really good about eating her new food, which I was shocked, but she's eating again and her appetite is now normal. And she's even become more active and she's become more part of the family, I guess you can say. Like, she's not hiding anymore, and so she's doing better. But I still, please, I have to give a shout out to my GoFundMe, www.gofundme.com/mycathasKidneyFailure. Please share the link. Guys, if you can donate just $1, but even if you can't, I mean, every dollar counts, but even if you can't, just share it, spread the word, please. It's become almost stale at this point because nobody's sharing except for me and nobody's donating. And I could use your guys' help. Please help me with my cat, Eleanor. She is doing better, but her cost it's definitely expensive. The food she's on is prescription only. You know, the fluids are not cheap either. The medicines are definitely not cheap. That's the most expensive. The probiotic alone is like $70-something, and it is a 40-day supply, but I mean, 40 days it passes, you know. And so our last visit was $500 and something, but we did get a lot of fluids, and I learned how to, you know, give them to her, which I hate. It's not hard. It's just something that I think I have to get used to because it's with my own cat, and I think someday I'll be able to do it without wincing and with no problem. But, you know, we're learning how to do it at home. So certain days we do it at home. Certain days I take her for fluids, like my day where I told you that my phone stopped working. So that's the update to Eleanor. And so the future for my channel at this point is just right now I'm in the middle of doing a cool project for skincare. I know I said that I wasn't going to be a beauty channel, and I still don't plan on doing it, but I've always been really, really into skincare. And my boyfriend gave me the idea I should do something about that. So I'm doing a study with him and with somebody else. And also one of my friends. Well, I don't know about with him. He hasn't completely agreed to my study yet. So if it's not him, I still have 2 other people with completely different skin concerns. And I have so many different skin products that I'm going to give them each a small skincare routine to follow with products that I already own, so they don't have to buy anything. And it's stuff, you know, pumping, you know, like moisturizer stuff, so it's not going to be cross-contamination or anything like that. And if they follow it for 3 weeks to see if it does any good. And in the meantime, I'll check up with them, get pictures, and post it to you guys and make a final video. And in the meantime, I might do a video on some of my favorite skincare products just while the project's going on, because I don't want to wait 3 weeks till I do another video. So that's my update for that, and I'm focusing on skincare, focusing on my healthy lifestyle change, I'm trying to eat lighter, and I've lost 1 pound this week, but you know, I know that success isn't measured by just how many pounds you've lost in general. So I'm just trying to be a little bit more active on my walks with Haru, and I'm also trying to, you know, eat healthier and eat lighter. And it's hard. I definitely have a long way to go, but I am in the, you know, beginning stages, and I am doing something about it, which I think is cool. So follow me on Twitter. I talk about that a lot, and on Instagram I just post day to day, not every day, but daily photos, like, you know, of us. The other day we had a break and we had Korean shaved ice bingsu and different, you know, renovation pictures and stuff like that. So please follow me on all of that, and please follow my website, www.iamkatie.net. It's up, the blog post. It's not completely finished, but the blog posts are up, and you can read written blogs that I've written that don't pertain to my videos, that might be a little bit more detail or smaller things. And just, guys, please follow me on my journey, and please subscribe, please. I promise that I will not spam you guys with videos, like I said before, but at the same time, I'll post enough to keep you guys interested. And if you have any suggestions for my channel or for me, or anything you'd like to see or to talk about, you know I'm all about discussions. If you've watched my previous videos, please leave comments below, and please like it, please subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Bye!